positive news, information, a little bit of inspiration. Tap in, tap in. Community love, education, and also motivation. For resources, information, and a little bit of inspiration. For community in the vicinity, let's be the light we want to see. Things will get better if we work together. We get things done when we work as one. Come on and tap in, tap in, tap in. Tap, tap, positive news.
Come on and tap in, tap in. Give everybody a few seconds to come on and tap in. Come on and tap in.
Education and also motivation. For resources, information, and a little bit of inspiration. For
Come on, tap in.
Let's be the light we want to see. Things will get better if we work together. We get things done when we work as one. Come on and tap in, tap in, tap in. Tap, tap.
Come on and tap in.
Information, a little bit of inspiration. Tap in, tap in. Community love, education, and also motivation. Got wins in the
Come on and tap in. And while you're tapping in, be sure to like, comment, and share. And subscribe to our YouTube channel at Vision Video Pro Studios. Come on and tap in, tap in. Thank you all for tuning in to my segment called Tap In, Tap In. So this is a segment where some things that I came across throughout the week that I thought you might be interested in. So let's go ahead and tap in. So first we want to say we have some Chester chefs in the making. So congratulations to Rondell and Sahad on their new job. They are both seniors at Chester High School, and they have been given the opportunity by Chef Sherelle Stevens, the one and the only, to work in her kitchen. And she has multiple locations. And Rondell and Sahad are in the Chester High Culinary class. So shout out to Cheryl's Southern Style Cuisine for giving Rondell and Sahad this great opportunity to tap into their culinary skills and do it, inside, like as they're working and building. So kudos and shout out to her. So we are excited about what they are going to learn. So hopefully I can one day get a sample of what they are making, whether it's in the high school or maybe in her kitchen. So up next now, I'm giving y'all a heads up because I know some people are always talking about traffic on 291, but Action News reported that the FIFA World Cup has something in common with Chester. So the national soccer team for the Ivory Coast will use the Philadelphia Union Stadium as its official training site during the summer's FIFA World Cup, bringing one of the tournament's elite squads to the Philadelphia region. The Ivory Coast is scheduled to play 2 matches in Philadelphia, including the city's opening game on June 14th against Ecuador. So if you see things getting busy on 291, that may be one of the reasons. Things may get a little bit busy around the stadium during the summer. So at least you might want to take 9th Street, take 95 during those times. Up next, we have the Daily Times reported AI is being used to get to know the right to know. So the Senate has aimed at taking measures in tamping down on the malicious use of AI and right to know requests. State Senate Bill 431 could become a vehicle for reaffirming the Commonwealth's right to know law. So tamping down on AI's malicious use, these process requests, even though they don't appear to be genuine or whether they appear to be genuine, it still takes time and effort for the municipalities to process them. So some right to know requests are for just basic information like what is the address or what is the business hours, things that you can easily find on the website. They're sending these frivolous requests in to the municipality. So they are going to start cracking down pretty soon. The bill currently focuses on records requests and not appeals, allowing entities to reject them if they have reasonable suspicion that the request was automatically generated by a computer program, script, artificial intelligence, or generative artificial, any type of intelligence. Anything that's not real, that's causing for information, when it could get the information in other places, because you're AI, you have access to the internet. So they are going to be cracking down on that. So if you see some right to request notes that you might be asking for it and wondering why it's taking so long, this might be one of the reasons. So hold tight. Hopefully they'll get that under wraps so that that won't bog up the municipalities who are actually honoring legitimate requests. So the League of Women Voters have something interesting going on that they want y'all to know about. And I guess the topic would be I tried to vote. That's what I'm labeling it, because some people are going to try to vote and they may have some trouble. So the League of Women Voters wanted you to know some details about the Save America Act. What issues can arise from the Save America Act? It requires American citizens to show documents like a passport or birth certificate to register to vote. Documents that 21 million Americans do not have ready access to. It is in the essence a poll tax, because it would force voters to pay for a passport or a birth certificate and may cause huge delays in the obtaining of the documents. So the bill provides all voters would have to show a photo ID each time they vote. Student IDs would not be acceptable form of IDs. This disenfranchises hundreds of thousands of college students. Millions of women whose married name are not on their birth certificate or passport would have to take additional steps, such as presenting state-issued marriage licenses to even be able to vote. So you would almost have to bring a folder, especially if you got married, to show your birth certificate, your legal name, and when you got married, all of these different documents just to vote. And these are some of the things that will be requesting. And then they also have the naturalized citizens will have to take additional steps to prove their previous non-citizen status. And that's not something that people kind of carry around either. But also the Native Americans who do not have birth certificates, but only have tribal registration certificates, would have to obtain additional documents. And state and local election officials would face massive unfunded financial burdens to implement the new restrictions and face legal repercussions for failing to do so. So all these different steps that people would have to take, somebody has to review those documents. So instead of going in, confirming who you are and going right to the booth, you would have to stop, review all the documents, check them off, show that they will have to confirm some kind of way that you actually submitted those documents. So these are some of the loopholes, well, not loopholes, because it's definitely not a good thing, or some of the restrictions that would cause. So be careful. Hopefully this doesn't get too in the woods, but we got to be mindful of what's going on during our elections and how they affect us. So vote in the May elections. I want to talk about May because that means warmer weather. Ah, yes, warmer weather. It's coming. It's coming. So the last day to register to vote is on May 4th. Check your status on the website. I have heard about people being kicked off or even having their party changed, which means, especially in the primary, if you change your party, you still might not be able to vote for the person that you want to vote for. So be mindful of what's going on. Even if you got to go check the website, just kind of make sure your information is correct. So the last day to request a mail-in ballot or absentee ballot is May 12th. and the primary election day is May 19th. Polls are open on election day from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. But before we move on, let me touch on the primary election in Texas this week. So, James Salarico won against Jasmine Crockett, but people were getting turned away from the polling places. And they had voted at these polling places for years. And they show up and they're told, oh, yeah, your voting place was changed. And they were getting the runarounds about where they were supposed to be voting. And even some of them went to the website to confirm where they're supposed to be voting. What is my voting location? And they were still getting the runarounds and couldn't get straight answers. And some of them couldn't even access the website because they said the website kept crashing because so many people were trying to confirm their polling locations. So after all of this foolery, I tried to look up some more information to see if I can get some details about, how things were going, about the lawsuits that were coming as far as the people who were in line but didn't actually cast their ballot to, after the polling place closed. So it's still a lot going on to see if their votes are going to count. So, but after all of this foolery, the main topic regarding the Texas primary is how many people came out to vote. And I haven't really been able to see anything detailed about what's going on with the votes that were cast when the polling place closed, because they told the people, stay in line. Don't get out of line, because most of them went to one polling place, were told to go to another polling place. So I'm going to keep my eye on that, because you already know if it sneaks through in one area, they'll probably trying to go to the next. So moving on from there. Have you heard about the Fast File Initiative? So if you haven't, the new Fast File Initiative is designed to simplify filing PA taxes returns for eligible Pennsylvanians. So the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue has launched a free pilot program offering eligible Pennsylvanians a simplified way to file their PA personal income tax returns, the PA-40, this tax season. The Department of Revenue has identified nearly over 100,000 Pennsylvanians who may qualify to use Fast File ahead of the April 15, 2026 deadline for filing taxes. So, hey, Ms. Dolores. So, eligible taxpayers will receive a letter in the mail encouraging them to use the Fast File option. When users log into MyPath, MYPATH, their employer reported W-2 information will already be uploaded. That eliminates the need to manually enter wages and withholding data. So filing can be completed in just a few simple steps. That's good. But who is eligible for the Fast File? So let's see. So single taxpayers who were full-time residents of Pennsylvania in the prior year, you will qualify. Taxpayers with only one W-2 income source for the same employer in the prior year, and taxpayers whose employer has filed the corresponding W-2 with the Department of Revenue. Taxpayers not claiming deductions, credits, or carry forwards. Taxpayers who did not make estimated payments in the prior year. And remember, April 15th is the deadline. So those, they said there are, I know I was one of them for a long time. Here, just take my W-2, file it. I just want to be done. I don't want to know, don't just here. That was me for a while. So that's why I thought it might be good to share that information. For some of you might hear, you just go into the system and your W-2 information is already in there. If you're just filing that W-2, you've been with your employer before the year before, you might be eligible to get that quick tax filing done. So April 15th is the deadline. All taxpayers who received more than $33 in total gross taxable income in calendar year 2025 must file Pennsylvania personal income taxes. $33? Really? All right, and they must be returned by Wednesday, April 15, 2026. So if you are eligible, if you meet that criteria, this is something that you might want to consider because, it's quick. Because I know, again, I was one of those people for a long time. I was working with the same employer. Here, take it. I don't want to deal with these taxes. So this might be something that you can do to kind of get it done quickly and may not have to pay that extra fee. All right. What is up next? What's up next? Scam, 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 scam. Y'all know I try to bring y'all some information just so that we can be mindful. Hey, Michelangelo. I just like to bring some information. Keep y'all aware of the scammers because they're not going to get no better. So this scam alert is the IRS said, what? Scam alert. The IRS said, what? So I actually got this from the IT team at the Chester Upland School District. So they shared the scam of the week. It is a tax trap. In this week's scam, you might receive an unexpected phone call from someone who says they are an Internal Revenue Service agent. They claim that you owe money to the IRS. Who we pay taxes? Everybody owes money to the IRS. The call seems real because the agent even provides what sounds like an actual government badge number. To make this situation even more alarming, they threaten you with fines or even arrest if you don't immediately pay the money that you owe. However, this tax agent is actually a cyber criminal. Scam, scam, scam. And the debt that you supposedly owe isn't real. They will try to pressure you into paying them, usually by wire transfer or a prepaid debit card. But if you send any money, it goes straight into the cyber criminal's pocket. So following these tips to protect against tax scam, let's see what they say. So the IRS will not call you and threaten to arrest you. If there is an issue with your taxes, they will usually contact you by mail. Hey, Duke. Hey, my brother. All right, you working, buddy. Are you working? Inside joke. If you do owe money to the IRS, they will never demand immediate payment using prepaid debit cards or wire transfers. Scam. Scammers often request payment using these methods because they are more difficult to trace. So remember, cyber criminals try to scare you because you're more likely to act impulsively if you're afraid. So always stop and think. You working? Stop and think. If they're pressuring you, gimme, that's a red flag. Because more than likely they want to work with you. So just be mindful of the scam. And this one was the IRS said, what? All right, keep working, buddy. So before we wrap up this segment, I want to celebrate my Black women. Black women in history. This is a good one. I learned something from this one. So let's get to it. Black women in history. In the early 1780s, an enslaved woman named Elizabeth Freeman, known as Mum Bet, heard something powerful being discussed in her enslaver's home. The new Massachusetts Constitution declaring that all men are born free and equal. She decided to test those words. With help from lawyers, Theodore Sedgwick, she sued for her freedom. In Boom and Pett versus Ashley, 1781, a jury ruled in her favor on August 22nd, 1781, freeing her and awarding damages. Her enslaver dropped his appeal. Together with the Walker cases, her victory helped push Massachusetts court to treat slavery as unconstitutional, effectively ending legal slavery in that state by 1783. Hey, Auntie Carolyn. Freeman went on to live as a paid worker and midwife, becoming a respected member of her community until her death in 1829. She didn't just hear the words born free and equal, she made them mean something. Some slaves ran to the free states up to the 1840 census, and the Fugitive Slave Clause of the U.S. Constitution, as implemented by the Fugitive Slave Act of 1793 and the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. Think about these dates. Provided that a slave did not become free by entering a free state. So you have free state, non-free state, and must be returned to their owner. Enforcement of these laws became one of the controversial things that arose between slave states and free states. So I know that a lot of time we're being taught that every state was a slave state. So Pennsylvania abolished slavery in 1780. President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in January 1st, 1863, announcing the freedom of enslaved people in the rebellious states. So we celebrate the Emancipation Proclamation, and we are glad that it was written. But we actually have some very great history of people who were making it happen before that was even issued. So we celebrate her for hearing what she heard and using those words to gain her freedom before the Emancipation Proclamation was even issued. So we give Miss Freeman kudos, because Miss Freeman was a free woman before the Emancipation Proclamation. So, all right, y'all, that is my time for tonight. Thank you for tapping in. So if you would like to hear more of this content, please let me know. I have fun sharing information, gathering information. Again, these are some things that I came across that I thought would be interesting and wanted to share that for you. So be sure to comment, like, and share, and subscribe to our YouTube page, Vision Video Productions. I thank you for tuning in. I see you. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. Peace and blessings.
Come on and tap in, tap in, tap in. Tap positive news. Information, a little bit of inspiration. Tap in, tap in. Community love. Education and also motivation. For resources, information, and a little bit of inspiration. For community in the vicinity, let's be the light we want to see. Things will get better if we work together. We get things done when we work as one. Come on and tap in, tap in, tap in. Tap positive news. Information, a little bit of inspiration. Tap in, tap in. Community love, education, and also motivation. Got wins in the hood, got kids doing good, got elders dropping wisdom like you knew that they would. Yeah, from books in the backpack to food in the backpack, we shine a light on all that, so your hope gets snapped back. Hands up if you're feeling this, hands up if you're needing this. We're in the fix, here to build and uplift. Say tap in, say